Picture this. A 60-year-old man walks up to a concrete wall, raises his palm, and with one swift strike, the entire wall crumbles to dust. No sledgehammer, no machinery, just flesh and bone. You're thinking it's fake, right? Wrong. I watched this happen with my own eyes at a Shaolin temple in China, and what I discovered next will completely change how you think about human potential. Most people believe there's a ceiling to human strength, that we're limited by genetics, age, or biology. But the Shaolin monks shattered that belief system centuries ago. They didn't just break physical barriers, they rewrote the rules of what the human body can achieve. And the craziest part? They did it without a single piece of modern equipment. No protein powders, no fancy gym memberships. Just 5 ancient techniques that most people today would dismiss as impossible. But here's what modern science is finally catching up to. These monks weren't just practicing martial arts, they were conducting the ultimate human experiment. They were hacking their nervous system, rewiring their muscle fibers, and literally changing their bone density through methods that seem almost supernatural. And today I'm going to reveal every single one of these techniques because what they discovered could unlock abilities in your body that you never knew existed. Let me start with something that will blow your mind. Have you ever tried to do a push-up on your fingertips? Most people can't even hold their body weight on their palms for more than a few seconds, let alone balance on 5 tiny points of contact. But Shaolin monks, they don't just do fingertip push-ups, they do them on 2 fingers, sometimes 1, and they hold handstands on their index fingers for minutes at a time. You're probably thinking this is just years of practice, right? Well, yes and no. What's really happening is something called neuroplasticity on steroids. When you force your fingers to support your entire body weight, you're not just building finger strength. You're creating new neural pathways that fire directly from your brain to the tiniest muscles in your hands. Modern sports science calls this neural drive, and it's the secret behind explosive power in elite athletes. Here's the thing, your grip strength determines everything. Every punch you throw, every weight you lift, every movement you make starts with your hands. If your grip fails, your entire kinetic chain collapses. That's why when a Shaolin monk hits a target, the power doesn't just come from their arm, it flows like lightning from the ground through their feet, up their spine, and explodes out through fingers that have been forged into weapons. Start with your palms on the ground, but lift them slightly so you're balancing on your fingertips. Your fingers should be spread wide, creating a stable base. Now instead of thinking about doing a push-up, think about pressing the earth away from your body. Lower yourself slowly, keeping your core tight as steel. If this is too intense, start on your knees, but never compromise your form. 3 to 5 perfect reps will rewire your nervous system more than 50 sloppy ones. But finger strength is just the beginning. What I witnessed next at that temple completely shattered my understanding of human balance. I watched a 70-year-old monk stand on one leg for over an hour, not moving, not wobbling, just perfectly still like a statue. When I asked him how this was possible, he smiled and said something that gave me chills. Balance is not about not falling. Balance is about being so rooted that falling becomes impossible. This isn't just mystical philosophy, it's cutting-edge neuroscience. When you balance on one leg, you're activating something called your Proprioceptive System. This is your body's internal GPS, and it's controlled by thousands of tiny sensors in your muscles, joints, and inner ear. Most people's proprioceptive system is basically asleep because we live in a world of chairs, cars, and stable surfaces. But when you force your body to balance, you wake up this dormant superpower. Stand tall and lift one knee until your thigh is parallel to the floor. But here's the key, don't just balance, root yourself. Imagine roots growing from your standing foot deep into the earth. Fix your eyes on a single point and don't let them waver. Your ankle will start to shake, your hip will want to compensate, your core will fire up. This is your nervous system learning to coordinate hundreds of micro movements to keep you upright. Start with 30 seconds on each leg, but your goal is to work up to 2 minutes of complete stillness. And when you can do that without even a tremor, you'll understand what that old monk meant. You won't just be balanced, you'll be unshakable. Now balance leads to something even more powerful, the ability to generate immovable strength. Before any Shaolin monk learns to move with power, they first learn to be absolutely still. This might sound backwards, but it's actually genius. Because if you can't control your body when it's not moving, how can you possibly control it when it is? This is where they introduced me to what they call Mabu, the horse stance. Imagine sitting in an invisible chair with your thighs parallel to the ground, your back straight as a sword, and your arms extended like you're holding the weight of the world. Now imagine staying there for 10 minutes while your legs scream at you to quit. This isn't just torture, it's the most advanced strength training on the planet. When you hold a deep position like this, you're doing something called isometric training. But unlike the isometric exercises you might know, this is full body integration under extreme stress. Your quads are burning, your glutes are firing, your core is locked in like armor, and your mind is fighting a war against the urge to give up. What's happening inside your body is honestly pretty remarkable. Your muscle fibers are learning to recruit more motor units at the same time. Your tendons are getting denser and, stronger. Your nervous system is figuring out how to maintain tension even under extreme fatigue, and your mind is developing the kind of mental steel that just can't be broken by physical discomfort. So position your feet about twice shoulder width apart, and drop your hips until your thighs are parallel to the floor. Keep your chest proud, your core tight, and your arms extended with intention. The moment you want to quit is actually the moment the real training begins. Start with 1 minute of perfect form, then work your way up toward 10. Because if you can hold your ground when your body is screaming at you to move, you've developed something most people never will: unbreakable mental fortitude. But, static strength is only half the equation. Real power happens when strength meets movement, when stability transforms into explosive motion. This is where the monk showed me something that honestly looked impossible. The ability to flow from a rock-solid plank position into a deep squat without using momentum, without breaking form, and without lifting their hands from the ground. Watch a cat move and you'll see this principle in action. Every movement flows seamlessly into the next, power transferring through their entire body like water flowing downhill. That's what this exercise teaches, not just strength, but the coordination to use that strength while moving. Start in a plank position with your wrist directly under your shoulders and your core tight as a steel beam. Now step or jump your feet forward into a deep squat position while keeping your hands planted on the ground. Your chest stays up, your knees track over your toes, and your spine remains tall. Pause in this position. This is where the magic happens. Then flow back to the plank. This movement is teaching your body something profound: how to coordinate your big muscle groups with your stabilizing muscles simultaneously. Modern research calls this intermuscular coordination, and it's what separates average athletes from elite ones. It's the difference between having strength and being able to use that strength when it matters. Do this 5 to 8 times with complete control. No rushing, no momentum, no cheating. Each repetition should look identical to the last, because broken movement patterns under stress will always reveal themselves when you need them most. The final test came when that same 70-year-old monk challenged me to something that seemed simple but turned out to be absolutely brutal. Walk across the courtyard in a deep horse stance without standing up, without bouncing, just slow, deliberate steps while your thighs burn like fire. This is called the low horse walk, and it's designed to teach you something most people never learn: how to stay strong when you're moving through pain. It's not enough to be strong when you're fresh and comfortable. Real strength shows up when you're exhausted, when every part of your body wants to quit, when your form starts to break down. This exercise combines the worst parts of isometric training with the challenge of movement. Your thighs are under constant tension, your core is working overtime to keep your spine stable, and your legs are learning to generate power while already fatigued. It's like doing squats while walking, but honestly it's infinitely harder. Drop into that deep horse stance we practiced earlier, but now take tiny steps forward. Your thighs stay parallel to the ground, your torso stays upright, and your core stays locked in. No rising up between steps, no breaks, no relief. 5 to 10 steps might not sound like much, but by step 3, you'll understand why this exercise builds the kind of endurance that can't be measured in a gym. Modern research shows that this type of training, combining isometric tension with movement, activates deep muscle fibers that normal exercise never touches. It recruits more motor units, builds incredible postural control, and develops what exercise physiologists call strength endurance, the ability to maintain power output even when your muscles are screaming. The monks told me something I'll never forget: anyone can be strong for a moment. We train to be strong when strength is the only thing left. After spending time with these masters, I realized something profound. Everything we think we know about human potential is wrong. We've been conditioned to believe in limitations that don't actually exist. We think strength comes from bigger muscles, that power comes from more weight, that endurance comes from longer workouts. But the Shaolin monks proved something different. They proved that the human body is capable of things that seem impossible, and that the key isn't found in modern gyms or supplement stores. It's found in ancient wisdom that understood something we've forgotten. True strength isn't just physical, it's the integration of mind, body, and spirit into something unbreakable. These 5 exercises might look simple, but they'll challenge you in ways that no modern workout ever could. They'll push your body beyond what you thought possible, and forge your mind into something that can't be broken by discomfort or difficulty. And if you're serious about discovering what your body is really capable of, if you want to unlock strength that goes beyond muscle and develops the kind of mental toughness that changes everything, then you need to start training like you mean it. Because the difference between ordinary and extraordinary isn't talent or genetics. It's the willingness to push through when everything in your body tells you to stop. That's the real secret of the Shaolin monks, and now it's yours.